Princess Diana? Xiao thought of the bizarre fate of the legendary princess. His expression was immediately shocked. He instantly understood what his father meant, and exclaimed, "Dad, are you kidding me?" Changfeng said with a grim expression. "It's about the reputation of the Su family, so I can't tolerate the slightest joke. In any case, I cannot let the reputation of the Su family be destroyed in the hands of a woman." Speaking of this, Changfeng gritted his teeth and said coldly, "Although the Su family is not a European royal family, the importance of our reputation is no less than that of the European royal nobles. If anyone dares to insult the family's reputation, don't blame my ruthlessness. In order to defend the reputation of the family, I can do everything." Xiao nodded gently. He knew that whether it was a royal family, aristocrat, or a top family, the importance of their reputation was almost above everything. The father wants to take a step in advance to retreat Leona and letting the auction go offline, which is equivalent to letting Leona consider it carefully. If she dares to participate directly in the auction unscrupulously, then the family would do anything, even if it has to be merciless. Sometimes, just to force the other party to make a bigger decision. It's like a confrontation between two people. One of them can't bear the pain of a killer for the time being and is unwilling to let the other side go. They often go the other way and hand the other a knife directly. If the other party really doesn't know how to lift up and picks up the knife, it is tantamount to helping oneself make the final decision. Changfeng wants to move the auction from online to offline, and this is the purpose. The old housekeeper with Leona in Orus Hill soon received the message that the auction would be changed to an offline location, and hurriedly reported the situation to Leona. She was surprised and asked, "Haven't the similar auctions been put online for the past 2 years? Why did you move back online again this time?" The old butler shook his head and said, "Second miss, I am not very clear about this. I asked about it. It seems that offline public auctions are more transparent." Leona didn't want to think too much. She hesitated for a moment, and said, "Let's go offline. Are the time and place set?" "It's set," the old butler hurriedly said. "Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning, in the auction hall of Treasure's Pavilion." "Treasure's Pavilion?" Leona asked curiously. "What is the background of this Treasure's Pavilion?" The old butler introduced. "This Treasure Pavilion is a cooperative club under our Orus Hill Cultural and Sports Association. It mainly sells various antiques and organizes and undertakes various auctions. The boss is called Bao Fugi." Leona counted and nodded, and said, "In this case, I will go directly to the Treasure's Pavilion to participate in the auction on Monday morning." The old butler hurriedly said, "Second lady, in the light of the next, you'd better not go there." Leona asked in surprise. "Why?" The old housekeeper coughed embarrassingly and explained. "Cough cough. Second miss, the matter of your coming to Orus Hill has already been upset people in Eastcliff. If you want to participate in this auction in person, it will surely cause even greater controversy at that time." Leona smiled indifferently and said seriously, "The so-called dispute is nothing more than to say that I and Xin still have no divorce. Although I have no divorce with him, I have been married to him for more than 20 years, and I have never had any relationship with anyone else. He's got close to me, even if it's verbal ambiguity, but in contrast, Xin keeps saying that he loves me, but he still had an illegitimate daughter outside long ago. Why is his approach allowed, mine? Will this not cause more controversy?" The old housekeeper said helplessly, "Second young lady, although the society has already emphasized equality between men and women, there are some things that are naturally different between men and women. In the moral philosophy of upper-class society, it is always men who get bothered about such affairs. It's not surprising that many original partners even turned a blind eye to this for their tolerance." As he said this, he continued, "Do you remember that there was a well-known director who was not clear with others? Not only was his wife not angry, but publicly said that her own man took advantage? In front of the people and in public opinion, you will be scolded to death." Leona smiled slightly, and said, "Uncle, you are more worried. I just want to buy the house where the Tassels lived. This is also a kind of memory for him in my heart." Other than that, I have never had any scandals with other men, and there will be no actual relationship with other men. If the outside world can't even tolerate this, then I don't need their tolerance. I don't care about what they say. The old butler said anxiously, "Second miss, I didn't mean that. I mean, you want to buy this house completely without problems, but the current situation is a bit special after all. You and Zin are still not divorced, so I feel that you don't have to go to this auction in person. Why don't I help you find a third party who has nothing to do with the vacation? Let them take this house back on your behalf. After they buy it, they will not transfer the property for the time being. When the storm passes or after you and Zin divorce, it will be transferred in your name. This will not make you uncomfortable." Leona waved her hand and said seriously, "Uncle, I miss Changying and it is not wrong in itself, so I am not afraid of the shadow leaning when I am upright. However, if I am not wrong. If I am afraid of what people say about it, and secretly ask someone to help me participate in the auction. Once it is passed out, others would think I was the one with a guilty conscience." The old butler sighed, "Second miss. I want to know what I should not say, but I have to say it. The Su family has always been very hostile. You have also seen what happened some time ago. They even have their own family fixed for things. The flesh and blood can be sold, which proves that this family has almost no morals at all. If you insist on participating in this auction, you will certainly offend them." Leona frowned slightly and said in a puzzled way, "I just don't understand." Zin carried the illegitimate daughter raised for 20 years on his back, and still dignifiedly brought up this daughter under my nose for several years. How come no one thinks the Su family offended me? The old butler hurriedly said, "Second miss, many things are not as we imagined. In the upper class, men and women are indeed very different, and you can't do that." Consciously ignore. Leona smiled slightly, "Uncle, you don't need to persuade me. I have decided. If you don't arrange it for me, I will arrange it myself. In short, I must go to this auction, and I must go generously." The old butler hesitated for a long time before finally sighing helplessly, "Well, second lady, I'll make arrangements." At the same time, Thompson Villa. Charlie also received a call from Isaac. Isaac said on the phone, "Master, the auction on Monday is changed to offline." "Oh?" Charlie asked in surprise. "Why did they change to offline?" Isaac said, "I have inquired about it, and even dragged the informant from Eastcliff to help with the investigation. The information returned seems to be the Su family's involvement." The Su family? Charlie couldn't help frowning. Why did the Su family interfere in this auction? I don't know about this. Isaac said truthfully, "I still don't know the motives of the Su family, but you should keep a low profile, Master." After speaking, Isaac hurriedly added, "The main reason is that this house is too sensitive. It is an old house where your parents lived. Once anyone competes for this house, it will prove to have a certain relationship with your parents. I am afraid that the Su family will find your existence by this. Once the family finds you, they would not hesitate to harm you, but your identity will definitely not be hidden." Charlie said in agreement, "What you said is wrong. Where will the buying on Monday be?" Isaac said, "The Treasure Pavilion is where you and Hong Kong's so-called metaphysical master Mr. Jingai bid for clams." Charlie suddenly realized and said, "I see, so let me remember that there is a VIP box in Treasure's Pavilion. You ask Bao Fugi to prepare one for me, then let your driver go to the scene to help me participate in the auction. I will be in the box and secretly observe the proceedings."